Hi, this is Josef Lara from Elantis. Thank you for listening to this message, and hopefully, we can provide value to you and about the reasons that you may be exploring with regards to the options of automation. You may today have invested into an automation platform. It could be UiPath, it could be Nintex, it could be Microsoft, it could be ServiceNow. Some of these platforms are dedicated exclusively for automation, like Nintex. Others are mixing the ability to create workflows, like ServiceNow, for example, or Salesforce. But what we find in most of our clients is that in the moment to make decisions, there are two platforms that come to mind because of their significance, their products, and as well as their features. One is Nintex, one of the pioneers in regards to compliance, in regards to automation, and with regards to robotic process automation, RPA, and Microsoft with the Power Platform. These two platforms actually can coexist. So hopefully in this information that we're sharing with you today, you can see how these platforms can complement each other. And at the same time, these platforms resolve problems in different ways for different scenarios. What is important is that we clarify what are the objectives. As a goal, we all have the goal to do more with less. And in regards to automation platforms is to reduce the ongoing costs of applications as well as leverage the low code capabilities of the platforms. The reality is that you have a tool for the right job, and you should have the strategy to have a tool for the right job. And as we're going to see, especially with compliance industries, it's very important that we understand how you're going to manage your data. Where are you going to have your applications? And what we observe is that if you have a very cloud-oriented organization and adopting cloud, you're going to have the ability to work with both platforms at the same time. But when you have to protect some of the data, especially because of the compliance that your industry requires, or because of cybersecurity concerns, then you are start looking at the two platforms in a different way. When you are looking at managing your applications and understanding all your environments, and by environments, what I mean is cloud environments and on-premise environments. You may face that you have the on-premise environments for everything that is absolutely protected within your data centers, those elements, those documents, that data that has to reside there because you are doing business with government, or because you're government, or because you're required to add additional protection to that data. It may or may not interact with the cloud. But in the cloud, you also have different options. You have industry-specific clouds, you have government clouds, and you have commercial clouds. Why? Because with the commercial cloud, you open your communications to the world. And that's the most typical adopted cloud by many organizations and companies, right? We're talking about the 365 package from Microsoft, including Teams and other applications. But you also have those compliance clouds that are driven by industry. And those ones are very important because they may not communicate with the commercial cloud. And at the same time, these clouds cannot communicate sometimes with those on-premises environments. That is the case for many industries. It could be defense contractors, it could be government, it could be energy industries, it could be healthcare, it could be finance, in different jurisdictions in the world. When you have to face this scenario, you need to think, okay, so how am I going to build low-code applications? How am I going to be able to develop further services for my organization using the automation platforms? And in that case, it's very essential that you understand that Nintex has a very strong value proposition. Nintex can help you because Nintex has products on workflow engines that will work on premises as in the cloud. So in these environments, in these scenarios, is where we see that Nintex could be a good complementary option for you in order to build the low-code applications either on premises or in the cloud instinctively. Now, because Nintex has come from a very strong on-premises traditional background on automation, because it was one of the first vendors, Nintex offers really rich features and products that can help you to manage and to build on-premises applications, but also on the cloud. So on the cloud, you have other options. And for that, we need to look at what's the ability for Nintex and Microsoft to coexist together, how can you make decisions based on one or the other? Elantis offers the ability to look at the complexity level of your applications and look at the scenarios of what it will take to take one particular use case. It could be an automated process or an application into the Microsoft or the Nintex platform. And if we're strictly looking at licensing, there is definitely great differences. Microsoft offers you an entry level to automation through the enterprise agreement when you buy your 365 licenses, E3 or E5. And obviously you can create your forms, you can create your workflows. However, with Nintex, you are entering into a license consuming those workflows that you're going to use. At the beginning, it could look like Microsoft is free, but it's not because you're already paying a user license. But in these scenarios is when you go into integrations. If you have to integrate with the data between a CRM system or an ERP system, an HR system, is when you start seeing that there's an additional licensing cost for all those connectors. Premium connectors, the ones that are available to you, already pre-designed, ready for the APIs, even the ones that you have to create yourself and develop yourself with custom connectors. And that also happens when you extend your ability to integrate to data lakes, for example, right? You have that ability to create those big pools of data that you're going to extract information for business intelligence reporting. All of these connectors and that usage, that integration requires additional licenses. So before you start creating those applications, those low-code applications, automating those processes, you have to ask to yourself a lot of questions, and you have to add, the equations and the math behind the level of complexity of this application. Nintex is very well positioned to help you and lowering the ongoing costs for these applications. And when you look and compare the platforms, not only on the feature side, or because they will work, right? There's forms and there's connectors and you have dashboards and you can do that. Both platforms will offer you these capabilities, but it's on the ongoing cost of the licensing and the maintenance. It's a critical point to discuss with our clients. So how can Nintex and Microsoft coexist, complementing each other? In fact, Nintex makes the Power Applications, the Power Apps experience better. They offer great solutions on the form side, access to external users without an additional cost. And the forms capability is very dynamic, and you can actually do a lot with their forms and even, transform the way that you're working and obtaining the data, including with the use of Nintex Signs, even with the Nintex RPA. Collecting the data is a very strong proposition from Nintex. But then you're running those applications with Power Apps, for example. Those Power Apps will have data to maybe be integrated to other systems. You can actually run workflows from Power Apps with Nintex and vice versa. And the ability to do so allows you to use the Nintex workflows to integrate your data and lowering costs, to be able to save on cost, and allowing you to multiply those integrations without adding complexity to your licensing maintenance, as well as leveraging on the pre-existing connections that Nintex already has. That's one of the strongest value propositions on the workflow side, between using Power Apps and extending those applications with Nintex. And at the same time, when you want to do something with the data, like, for example, creating document generation, here you have Nintex DocGen. And that is a very strong solution, especially very popular with Salesforce clients, about the automated document generation that Nintex offers from that information that is being working with Power Apps, as well as that in very complex, but especially very powerful connection to databases to be able to feed those data lakes, to be able to retrieve that information for your decision making with business intelligence. So when we look at, obtaining the data using forms, using RPA, complementing the Power Apps on the workflow side, and also to be able to automatically create documents and to connect with other databases, that's when Nintex and Microsoft working together are a much better and cost-effective experience. Now, there are two elements that actually Nintex complements the Power Platform in addition of what the Power Platform provides you. One is the ability to use process discovery, and Nintex process discovery, those bots telling you what you don't know yet and what you can automate. It's a powerful tool, as well as process management. And process management is where many clients are learning how to create those robust libraries with a return of investment calculator of what automation will bring to them and how they can make their processes way, way better. That process mapping, called ProMap, with process discovery, and incredible additions to your Power Platform that you can leverage with your Nintex licensing. Ultimately, what we want is to help you to arrive to the right decision, and it is the right tool for the right job. Either you are constrained because of on-premises, hybrid models, and cloud models, especially on your compliance requirements, and you need to understand exactly how you're going to leverage automation, Nintex has your back. If you need to complement your investments with Microsoft with more powerful automation, you can combine the products and features between the Power Platform and Nintex. All this is possible, and it's actually not rocket science. But what is important is that you control the ongoing cost of the applications, that you actually take advantage of low code, that you enable your users, your employees, to build their own solutions with technology. And that is done in a way that is governed, that is following your rules, that is contained in regards to costs, and that provides a lot of value to your organization. We're here to help guide you to assess the effort that it will require to look at what you have done and how we can optimize it and make it better. I invite you to connect with us and have a conversation of which one is the best automation platform for the use case that you specifically have. Thank you very much, and thank you for listening to this message.